Hey, hi, social media family. Been up any subscribers and likewise as well any visitors to that being of my own immediate personal social media channel in our chat room. How you all doing? Well, hopefully everyone is doing at least okay. If not bad, yet to be said, to be feeling all right, or if not best of all, to be said, to be feeling blessed and stressed, more blessed and stressed, or too blessed to possibly come and be stressed. You and yours, your family and friends, and hopefully me and mine, likewise as well, all the time. And I do apologize if I could possibly be butchering the English language as we have it for our own particular American dialect. Like say once again, for possibly the umpteenth consecutive time. Again, I never had claimed to have become or be an English major, neither nor an English professor. So I'm sorry about that, you all. Like I said before, so again, I apologize. Shouldn't be eating so much of these things with the way I'm feeling at the moment. Could be how much less this causing that is me to experience some further symptoms to become subjected to with my itchy, sore, painful throat. Well, I'm just hoping that it's a result of development of a rather bad cold. That's why I'm, putting this with this, if it is just a cold, hopefully, something works for that. Like the flu or vice versa, if you know what I mean, as a result, you're gonna be like. And I've been going through the specific details of that, man, unless I want to risk the administrative representative personnel of YouTube, aka YouTube, as time starts giving them time, falsely accusing me of spreading misinformation. Because last time they had done or did that, was they had this episode say they stipulated that certain features of my own social media broadcast account, social media account, would be limited, and that's including which I would be restricted from broadcasting, what I meant to say. And I say for a week, and it turned out they had it restricted some and such for a little more than a week. All right. Well, wasn't that rather undemocratic of them? And then I had since placed an appeal, and so voila, here I am, back on it. And so, like I said before, so I say again, or as I said during a previous or so social media broadcast video, that at times, or particularly if you're speaking your point of view, your especially views and opinions upon certain rather controversial subject matters or topic of discussions to be debated or given an argument with many different views and opinions to be affiliated, associated with, and or representing thereof of a given argument, dialogue, or conversation, then you have to that much more and further usages of discretion, you know, to avoid any misunderstandings, any legal dilemmas, any supposed so-called allegations or accusations or whatever I say, or whereas you wouldn't want to become subject to experiencing that being of false allegations or accusations, especially if any of it could possibly become or be substantiated so far as slander and libel. Slander is when one person allegates or accuses another individual of making a false statement verbally, whereas libel is when one person accuses another individual of having expressed one's thoughts of a verbal nature in a much more tangible form, so far as to put it in writing, you know. So therefore, a person at times will have to speak in coded language or lingo or hieroglyphics, you know, so that the given argument will be less likely to be one that could possibly be contested within a court of law. Or as they say, the proof is in the pudding, and where there is little or no evidence, then anything and everything else will be considered as circumstantial, or as the different lawyers or attorneys and judges would put it. And so much for that conversation. You know. And moving right along. And eat some of this here too. All I had is cold. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Then I will consider other home remedies, not to mention accompanying it, then of some such, or supplement that being in addition, or those other remedies to be possibly considered of over-the-counter drugs, especially prescription medicines. And if need be, I may have to rush out of here, force myself to get to a store with limited funds of food stamp dollars I have, make further purchases of soup, you know, different ones, regardless of whether or not I still have a little sum or such for the premises of properties for my present place of residence, as we have it, 4th and 5th, whereas I am now located at a given address location for one of the less preferred distinctiary neighborhood communities. If you know what I mean, read between the lines, fill in the blanks. Disregard or ignore any disruption or interruption you can hear in the background as someone says, give a moment of time. No, not making reference to any broadcast or communications coming from another sort of type of electronic device, but rather if you could possibly hear any of the likes of certain neighbors, being those whom are among themselves Many of whom would be, you know, considered as being of the likes of the proverbial neighbors from damn hell. The public nuisance is a problem neighbors. You know, I mean, whereas I'm not responsible for their actions, you know. I can only take care of necessary business at hand, as in control what is up under my own jurisdiction or authority. Then if push comes to shove, if any of the certain neighbors who would come up as obnoxious ones, attempting to provoke a situation, or attempting to violate another neighbor's or other neighbor's civil and human rights, then and there I would have to exercise my rights and privileges to address the issue to a higher authority, as in dial the emergency 911 number for the police, social service personnel representatives who represent the law enforcement community, you know, and then from there let them take the necessary business at hand, you know. And so much for that conversation. Likewise, well, the same, you know. Yeah, how you all feeling? Hopefully everyone is feeling at least okay. If not better yet to be said, all right, or if not best of all to be said, whereas you could be feeling blessed and stressed, more blessed and stressed, or too blessed to possibly become or be stressed. You and yours, your family and friends, hopefully me and mine likewise. Well, so I ask you all now. I did before, and if I did ask your person that question, being in my social media family of any subscribers as well as any visitors to that, being in my own immediate personal social media channel, chat room or chat or comment section, then there's no harm in repeating that question. Now, is there? Yes, hopefully you all been in your family and friends for your different households. My social media family subscribers and visitors to my own social media channel and chat room comment section would be feeling at least okay. Hopefully much better than what I feel like at the moment. And as I suspect that foul play could have possibly been orchestrated, initiated, and or perpetrated against my person coming from unknown suspects of persons. Yes, could have possibly been something anybody and everybody could have partly played a hand in the way I'm feeling as of the present given moment in time. Quite up under the weather, feeling more up under the weather than what I felt like I was getting better. Hopefully I start to get better again. With whatever home remedies and over-the-counter drugs and prescription medicines. In due time. I was going to speed dial this here social media broadcast video for the present one until I had just remembered that the soup kitchen that I would usually try to attend, or as I would patronize the services, as is one of those been what few soup kitchens moonlighting as food pantries that I know that feeds during the nighttime hours, compared to how I knew about the majority of most that service during the daylight hours. Whereas I just remember this one pastor who controls all that had informed the different persons who rely on it that they would not be of service this Friday. And thank God I remembered that, whereas usually they don't make that announcement. And you just have to go there and find out for yourself as to whether or not they are open or whether they are open or closed. But lately they have been making announcements that during a particular Friday they won't be open. And I'm thankful for that. Thank God for that, because I would have gone all out my way to get there only to find out that it's closed, And especially as I'm not feeling much up to it anyway, with me feeling quite up under the weather, And as I suspect that my present physical condition. And the same, I thought, since the word could have something to do with any one of these persons of characters or worse than neighbors from damn hell. Whereas my last neighbors from damn hell of characters at a different building address location where I was located at as a tenant paying monthly rent on an annual basis were like more rowdy, you know, more like more loud compared to these present compared to these persons of character with my present neighbors from damn hell being more creepy or more sneaky, and for one of the worst neighborhood communities for the vicinity area. Whereas prior to then, I was a tenant of one of the much more preferred vicinity area neighborhood communities, being a multiracial and less poverty stricken, less crime ridden one of the multiracial and less poverty stricken, less crime ridden ones compared to where I'm at now as a tenant paying annual monthly rent and etc. For one of the less preferred ones being one of the likes being of a predominantly ethnic minority and more poverty stricken and more crime ridden ones. One of the ethnic minority, one of the predominantly ethnic minority and more poverty stricken, more crime ridden ones. What I meant to say, or as I was saying, to state for the record. Yeah. And with the way I'm feeling at the moment, so bear with me, and because now I'm in like double jeopardy. Not only where I'm at now, I have to watch my neighbors more, but also I have to be more alert with the way I'm feeling quite up under the weather, you know. Yeah. And as well as any of these neighbors from damn hell could be partially or partly responsible for the way I'm feeling at the moment with physical health issues, but then one never knows whether or not some of such doctors and nurses at the different hospitals and clinics I have been to lately or most recently could have partly played a part in the way I'm feeling now. Just up on the weather, you know. I guess so I haven't been able to read God's word like I want to. I mean, falling behind. We just have to start a new reading altogether, you know, and try to play catch up for the chapters that I've been missing out on reading as a result of developments for the way I'm feeling at the moment, you know. Yeah. I wouldn't put it past any like certain neighbors to attempt to, you know, throw a monkey wrench in the program for other neighbors' well-being, you know, personal survival, you know, because it takes all kinds to make a world, you know, as they say. Get some more of this kind of soup. Then I'm using it as a drinking jar. The bottle or container to come in. Oh, they thought, yeah, what's up? Who is this here? Oh, yeah, how you doing? Yeah, I'm not feeling too good at the moment. I'm feeling quite up under the weather. And I got this sore throat. No, I'm not, as I was saying. I have this sore throat. Did you hear me? Something wrong with your audio? I have a sore throat and my sinuses bother me. Yeah, I'm wondering who or what could possibly be responsible for the way I'm feeling now, you know. Oh, all right. So you did hear me. Yeah. And these weather temps had changed up so dramatically most recently. I knew it couldn't last long. You know, just the other day, like as recently as yesterday, where I'm at, for the Midwest of the USA, and for the Windy City at that, whereas the sister city to us is the city of the Big Apple. It was like a balmy 70-something degrees. Now it has dropped, the weather temperature dropped down to something like 20 or 30, maybe 40 degrees less than what it was before. Well, at least 20 or 30 degrees. And it is from chilly to cold, So I suspect that the weather temps could partly be the reason why I'm feeling like I am, but how much more I'm suspecting. It could have possibly come to be the result of developments of some or such other, like certain neighbors, as well as doctors and nurses, different hospitals. Because most doctors and nurses, and likewise most hospitals, they're not into the making people better business, but they're into the making people or person worse. Hold that thought. Oh, hey there, another visitor to my own social media channel. How you doing? I myself personally am feeling a little bit up on the weather at the moment, as I was trying to explain to another user, before you showed up, as well as I'm explaining to you now. Yeah. I mean, getting back to some and such other though, whereas the different doctors and nurses, hospitals and clinics for that matter, I'm one of the person that believe that more than half, as in most, compared to others, could possibly tend different. They make the ching, 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 from how sick a person feels, okay? And some of them will even prolong the condition of the status of your physical health, being whereas you would not feel well, so that they could continue to keep you as a patient coming back and forth. It don't matter. Be you an outpatient as well as an inpatient, And then they cover their tracks, They don't care. Unless it becomes a something of a health issue that could possibly resemble a global pandemic, then maybe, just maybe, they will, take the precaution as to not endanger your well-being, because it could affect them as well, And enough for that to be said on that last note of interest, before I were to be falsely accused of spreading misinformation. I didn't say that all doctors and nurses are foul. Neither nor did I say all hospitals and clinics are foul. Okay? Let me make that perfectly clear. So I say, and I'll state for that being of the record. Hold it up. Oh, hi, other user that has paid a visit to my own immediate personal chat room and or conversation, as well as my channel. Not that I mean for this here that I have established for myself to be considered as a negative one. No, because I'm really a positive person, But I just taking the liberty to explain to you all how I'm feeling at the moment, just in case I may feel kind of grumpy to some or such of you all, or you may, have considered me to be, as of the present given moment time, just giving you an explanation as to why that could possibly have become or be. But I'm still trying to stay in good spirits regardless, Yeah, I'm feeling, speaking on that last, I'm feeling just so out of it. I was contemplating taking a drink otherwise, if you know what I mean, as well as a smoke. Hold that thought. A drink so far as consuming some kind, sort of type of quality and quantity of an intoxicating alcoholic beverage, like goom, 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 as well as contemplating smoking my drug of choice, being that of reefer, the wacko weed, peyote, or as it would be known otherwise compared to those street slang names of it, as the doctors and nurses would call it, according to this medical term, that of marijuana. You just remember, I'm going to have to get in touch with one of these doctors and see if they could prescribe for me some medicinal marijuana, that could possibly at least reduce the symptoms, if not cure, this present physical, medical health dilemma or problem that I have become subject to experiencing as of the present given on time, because I'm feeling like really not in a funk. And I didn't go much of anywhere today, Well, I have literally actually have had to force myself to go somewhere for the necessary business and take care of some personal business matters for my own personal survival. I stopped by a soup kitchen. I ate a little something there and forced myself to eat. I ate rather slowly, well, that much more slowly I have to eat now, till I were to be able to finally see a dentist that is, and then get some dentures. See, I had more than quite a few teeth removed on short notice, for emergency, purposes. But I'm not about to go see a dentist at the moment with me feeling up under the weather. It'd be quite some days or weeks, I hope not months from now, because I want to get this all straightened out first of all, with me being my person having become subjected to experiencing a rather sore throat, my sinuses bothering me and everything, and the other day I was feeling so much pain. I'm not feeling so much pain now, so that's the only good thing at the moment. So far, my physical health is concerned. I'm not feeling so much pain in certain other areas of my body, but I'm feeling this sore throat, And I'm like, what in the world is going on? I mean, I have a nagging, itchy, sore, painful throat, But then it's that time of year anyway. And I'm just glad I'm not homeless, or the rank and file of one of the statistical racial percentiles or percentages of the life. Hold that thought. User with the username Thug Hunters Fan 2004. Where's this question coming from? Could you please explain? You asked me, what do I think about the Satanic Temple? What brought that on? I would like to know. Hopefully you're not coming off like some sort of such type of character of an internet troll, I mean, at the present given moment time, this is not the time nor the place to discuss matters of that nature, unless you're really trying to ask, from another perspective, point of view, or not trying or attempting to come off like some kind of internet troll character. Yes, the word "trying" is for civilized and law-abiding citizens. The word "attempting" is for, those being of disrespectful, violent criminals who show little or no regard or respect for other people's or other person's feelings. What are you saying, Thug Hunters Fan 2004? So what do they do? What you're saying? That is, those members. Hold that thought, everybody. I'm trying to ask this question as well as I'm trying to ask him a question. Yeah. Yeah, that's bad. That's what I think about that, But then what brought that on? Could you please explain why you decide to discuss matters in regard to card carrying members to a religious cult that is into devil worship? I'd appreciate it. And hopefully you will give me a reasonable argument, conversation, or dialogue. Otherwise, I may have to put you in timeout. I mean, seriously though, I don't really want to silence anybody, and how much less block them from my channel. But after a while, if a person come off like a character who is being persistent and attempting to be annoying onto me, then there I would have to make the exception. And very few persons who would come off like characters or the likes would I permit reaccess to my channel, being because the majority or most who I block, they are blocked permanently. So remember that if anybody wishes to contemplate or romance the thought of coming off like one of those sorcerer types of characters, because I'm not feeling too good at the moment. Use it with the username of Thug Hunter. Now, why would you do that? If you persist with this line of thought, I'm going to have to put you in a timeout. Okay? Like I said, this is not the time nor the place for this here. I'm going to have to put you in a timeout, because now you're being obnoxious, and I'm not feeling you. You hear what I'm saying? In Daniel chapter 7, I saw 4 great beasts. They came. I'm not feeling you. Sorry about that, you all. They received their power from being. I had to put that one user in a timeout because he was misbehaving, acting rather obnoxious. Hold it, though. I'm gonna have to type a little something to let them know how I feel about it. Well, I already explained anyway verbally, so it don't really matter whether or not I would have put it in type as type some sort, but sometimes I feel the need to go the extra mile to let somebody know who's becoming to being obnoxious know that I think that one should chill out, or else. User with the username Doug Hunters Fan 2004 could you please not do that upon my social media channel or within my social media chat room, social media comments section. I mean, I would hate to have to, worse yet, than to just think of it being of man's intentions to silence your chat by contemplating romancing the thought of possibly that much more. Block permanently from that being my own particular immediate and personal social media channel, social media chat room, social media conversation, or whatever. However, so be nice. So be nice. Respect my channel and or chat room, and we'll get along fine. Respect it, and then you yourself can just take a hike. Not having it at the moment. Oh my God. Yeah, so anyway, getting back to something such as I went to this one soup kitchen. I ate there. They usually serve chicken and fish on a Friday of the weekend. This is one of my much more frequented soup kitchens that I pay a visit to or patronize. Being one of those, being of the majority of most that I know about that serve during the daylight hours compared to the few that I know about that serves during the evening hours. And very few at that. The other one being vice versa, of the latter compared to the former. So I ate there only after paying a visit to another one before then, and they weren't serving much. They were serving soup, but not the kind of soup I wanted. I don't eat mixed vegetables in soup. I have to have my vegetables straight or not at all. I never had a taste for mixed vegetables, Yeah. So from there, I went to the other soup kitchen and ate there. One I was telling you about for that atmosphere for this premises property, a facility, a public facility that is serving something else on the menu, and whereas it is for the atmosphere of church compared to the other ones supposed to be for some kind of social service center, but then most of those I know about is of church atmosphere. And then was trying to stop off at the bank, for what little stash of cash I have at this one and that one, at least a few different banks. They were closed for the day. Now, don't get me wrong. I know some of you could possibly be thinking, wow, you have money in a different bank? No, I don't have. I just like to, what little stash of cash I had, I like to put it in different banks that way. So it won't prove to be an inconvenience to me. That way, if I can't get money at one bank, I can get at another that I do business with, just in case, like on short notice or in the event of a supposed or so-called natural disaster, I can get money from another bank that I do business with, Then just put it in one bank, and if something should happen to those banks, or their system could go down because of a computer hacker or something, you know what I'm saying? Because you never know how you could need money for a rainy day. Sorry about that. I'm now sound like Slash Alone with the piece. See what I mean? Slash Alone or President-elect for that matter. Commie and baby killer abortionist supporter. Baby killer abortionist supporter with the speech impediment, speech defect. Well, you used to stutter. Well, I hope I'm not sounding like just as much like one of our late presidents with the memory lapse episode. Ronald Wilson Reagan, the beast with the 360s. Some call him or think of him as compared to others. Anyway, getting back to some such, as I think to backtrack here, the reason probably being in order so I can go on to continue for where I'm winning that my first plan last left off so I can finish up as a complete form previous prior line thought on that same system word before I lose the train of thought. Yeah. And then I'm gonna conclude shortly after. Yeah, so I try to put a little money with what little I can in a few banks that way. So if one bank's electronic communication system could crash, I can go to another one and get whatever I need for a rainy day, especially if I'm feeling up under the weather, you know. Yeah, in times like these, we do need a savior, you know. And, you know, like say, if I need to get so much better over-the-counter drugs than the generic kind, you know, or have to pay a small fee for some prescription meds equally well, you know, less is covered, the brand name, as well as generic prescription med, whatever sort or type. Yeah. So I had thought to try to, I thought it would have mind to try to go to this one bank. Now I said, I said, nah, if this one is closed because it's a holiday, Veterans Day, I said, then all places of businesses or whatever source of types of store will practically all, if not all, you know, with the exception of fast food places. So, and where a few other hospitals and clinics are never closed, or hospitals, I don't know. Or some clinics would be open. Hospitals never close. You know. And police stations are never closed. And military bases are never closed. If you know what I mean, for obvious reasons and on purposes that they're not closed, you know, being of which should prove to have become to be a no-brainer as and self-explanatory. Then happy Veterans Day to all you veterans like myself, you know, regardless of whatever stint you could have done in America, U.S. military, be you were in there for a few years or a few weeks for that matter. You know. Still all the same with veterans. Happy Veterans Day to everybody, regardless of what time that you spent in the U.S. military. Then at one time, you know, I was contemplating, you know, making a mistake to quite ignorantly or insanely or absentmindedly join the Red Army. Well, that was a little joke or somewhat now, I guess. I mean, at one time I was considering that as a communist party when I was saying, no, that's against my religious beliefs, you know. So I remain a Democrat. Yes, happy Veterans Day to all veterans. So I remain a Democrat in accordance to our own type of government, you know, politics, you know. As a matter of fact, I served as a judge of elections. So it'd be a matter of time before I would receive that check for my services, you know. Judge election for the last political election, you know, I usually do serve as a judge of elections. Some other time in the near future, well, whenever, for the future, I may consider, you know, serving as something other than a judge of elections when it comes to a general or primary election. Like, say, I may contemplate becoming that an election coordinator or an election poll watcher, but I usually serve as a judge of elections. So much for that conversation. Yeah, so it's going to take about three or four, about a month, give or take, a week or so or days before I would receive that check for having served in capacity as the judge of election. You know, judge of election would verify that a voter is eligible to vote, and with fellow judges of elections would hand them their paper documents so that they could cast their ballot, you know. And we have had to spend like 2/3 of a day there, you know, from 5 in the morning and That's counting the additional hours after the election polls were closed, where you have to pack things up and store them away. You know, like from 5 to 7, like from 5 to 5, that's 12 hours right there. But then it's usually, so that's half a day. But usually from 5 to 7, so that's 14 hours. And then there's additional 2 hours to pack up the things and store them away. So that's 2/3 of a day, you know. And I was dog tired after I got done with that. And then I started to feel, you know, worse after. I'm like, what brought that on? Hopefully it wasn't because of that. Hopefully it's more like, well, if you know what I mean, so to speak, and then something. Right? Because I'm serving as a judge election, that shouldn't make me feel, you know, up on the weather. Hopefully it wouldn't contributed to my failing health. But eventually I suspect that it could be one of these neighbors from damn hell, or one of these doctors and nurses at any of them hospitals I went to most recently to seek general services, you know, for my own health issues. Hold that thought. Don't do that. I'll let you know in due time, but don't do that at the moment. Use with the username of Lord Cybercat. You ask me what other social media accounts do I have. You know, I'll tell you in due time, but you know, well, hopefully you didn't mean that from another point of view to be obnoxious like an internet troll. Anyway, though, you all, I'm going to close out shortly, all right? And I hope you all wish me well. Pray for me because I'm not feeling too well at the moment. I mean, this throat is killing me. Well, not literally, actually killing me. But I'm feeling in a funk, you know. Hold it, though. Yeah. I'm going to try to rush out here and get to the store before it really started to get dark where I'm at. I mean, it's dark now, but before the hours get later, when the street animals, street critters, or street vampires, I would call them all the same. Some such other nicknames I give them. I know I shouldn't do that. I'm supposed to be a Christian. I believe in God. I'm supposed to pray for him. I know, but at times you can't but help, so to speak. But with me feeling like the lesser two evils, you know, you can understand where I'm coming from. You know, I'm having a zero tolerance level for somebody else's foolishness. But I'm trying to get out here and get to the store and buy whatever store nearby and buy me some soup, and then get back to my pad and just call it a night. And then come Saturday, which is tomorrow, I'll probably go to one of my much more frequented compared to one of my less frequented self-help recovery program meetings, you know, as I am a card-carrying member to AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. You know, usually if I attend an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, I don't necessarily have to attend, you know, that usually if I attend an AA as an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, I don't necessarily have to attend likewise in a Narcotics Anonymous meeting, you know, because it comes upon practically the same format, you know, 12-step, 12 tradition, you know, because not only am I a recovering chronic alcoholic, I'm a recovering reefer addict. But then on this last note of interest, I would like to say, if you haven't gotten Christ as your own personal Lord and Savior, I hope that you would think to do so now while the blood is still running warm in your veins, by recognizing and realizing what he himself had done or did upon the cross of Calvary, on his goal of suffering at the hands of some sort of Roman soldiers upon the orders of their superiors, being of militaristic, political, religious, and etc. sort of type, from centurions to Caesar to Pharisees, but then nevertheless, he went to that cross of Calvary, become the perfect sacrifice, the only sacrifice for you as well as for me. Don't steal my trademark physical gesture. I'm gonna have to copyright this sometime, so that if any of us been on whatever race and whatever walks of life, faction, society, lifestyle preferences, being an old, young, like both two sexes, the male and female represent not only the human species, but then nevertheless the global community within this post 911 era, new millennium, apocalypse day and age, where noonday clock is now at a couple few minutes midnight compared to how point previous prior to it was a quarter midnight for these right biblical prophetic time. Where the professed some of such faith in, and from there we become to be blessed in one regard or another. More ways, more first. Former, we become citizens of the kingdom of heaven. Second of all, we become blessed while we're in this world. You all take care and be blessed. I'll get back with you already. Peace.